Hey, what is going on, Hustle Buddies? How are you guys doing on this fantastic, not Sunday, Monday evening? Let me know down in the comment section if you can hear me, if you can see me, all of that good stuff. And then let me know where you are hailing from. I'll wait a few seconds, see if we get anybody chatting in here. Stacy DeLong. Hey, how's it going, Stacy? Linda, how is it going? Yeah, we're going to do some Keepa lessons tonight. Olga from Texas, what is up? Logan, awesome. Sounds good. Sweet. Okay, so you guys can see me and you can hear me. All right, so tonight on the agenda, basically two big things. I'm here to talk about and answer questions about our upcoming Replen Workshop. It's a huge workshop event. It's happening this weekend. If you don't have tickets yet, grab your tickets. Let me post that up. Yeah, if you don't have that yet, grab your tickets. You can get those over on our website, hustlebuddiesofficial.com, and you'll have to scroll over to where it says like all courses or whatever. It's called the Replen Workshop. That's what you're looking for. So I'm here to talk about that a little bit, answer questions about that. And we are going to be going through a bunch of Keepa graphs. I made a post about an hour or so ago in the main Facebook group, just asking for your graphs. So I'll go through a couple of those. And then you guys here in chat can also post your ASINs, your ASINs, and we can go through some of those. So yeah. Okay, so with Keepa training, it kind of ties in well because the very first thing, for those of you guys who are already in the Replen Workshop, you'll notice you got some homework. The very first thing is a bunch of Keepa homework for you guys. And it's to sort of see where people are at, what they understand, what they don't understand, and all of that. Now, a couple things that I want to preface anytime we talk about Keepa. I think that you can stay really, really simple on Keepa and get 90% of your value from it, okay? There are ways that you can dive deeper, and we will be diving deeper, but I don't want people to feel like they get overwhelmed or get like information paralysis, because really you just want to know two things. Is your item selling? And roughly how much is it selling for, okay? And those two bits of data are usually pretty simple to find, and if they're not simple to find, the third simple thing is, well, you just move on and pass, okay? But we will be diving deep for those of you who don't want to just move on, who want to actually figure out those little diamonds that maybe other people are missing because they are just moving on. So yeah, so it ties in really well with our Replen Workshop. So a little bit about the Replen Workshop. I'm gonna pull this up on my screen. And I will talk you guys through, let me see if I can do this. I don't want to play local video. Share screen, I think. Share audio. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure how this works. I'll probably have to do like a side-by-side. Sylvia, hey, what's up? Rhoda, Ahmed, what is up, man? I think Ahmed's in all of our videos. That's great. It's always great seeing you here, man. All right, we'll pull this up, do a little, let's do it like that. Okay, so our Replen Workshop that is coming out. All right, if you go to our website, so hustlebuddiesofficial.com, okay, it'll take you to our main website. Then you go up here to all classes. And right here, the Replen Workshop, okay? So I'll talk you guys a little bit through what this is for those of you who don't know. If you're already a part of this, which many of you guys are. I mean, we have like, I think it was like 1,200 people signed up for this. So yeah, if you already know about this, you can kind of tune out for a little bit. But if you don't know, basically, the Replen Workshop is all about sort of taking you guys and moving you past just the clearance aisles. I think clearance is fantastic, and we will continue to promote clearance and talk about clearance and all of that, and push people to start with things like books and bras and all this other stuff. But Replens is really how you continue to build a sustainable business. Clearance items are the kind of thing where like you might find something for $2 and then you can sell it for $40 or something. It's like, oh my gosh, but it's a one and done. Once you do it, then it's gone. A replen, you're not going to find that same kind of cash flow. You're not going to find something for $2 and sell it for $40 over and over and over. A replenishable item, it's just something that you can sell over and over. And by the nature of it, usually your margins are a lot smaller. So use your clearance to get like explosive capital and explosive growth, and then use replenishable items to build longevity in your business. All right. So the Replen Workshop, it's going to be a 2-day event. It'll be this Saturday and Sunday. It starts at 10 a.m. It'll probably go to about 5 p.m. on each of those days. I don't know exactly how long it will go. The last Replen Workshop we did was a much smaller one. I thought it would probably take like 2 or 3 hours, and it ended up going 5.5 hours. So I don't want to tell you guys, oh yeah, it's going to be 10 to 5, and then it goes to like 10 to way later than that. But that's what I'm expecting, just to give you guys a rough idea of it. Okay. So again, this Saturday, happening 4 days and 14 hours. There's also going to be a bunch of follow-up videos over the next week. I was trying to figure out how I could pack in everything I wanted to pack in just those 2 days. And I sort of came to the conclusion, like, well, why am I trying to kill myself? Let me just do what I want to do for like the Replen, the main event of the Replen Workshop, and all these extra things that I want to put in. Like I want to put in, here's how to find expats, and here's how to, we've got a whole list of things down here. Here's how like repricing templates or wholesale training, like all these other things. How can I fit all of these things into like just the 2 days? So it's like, well, let's just skip that. Don't worry about that. This is what we'll do on day 1 right here. This is what we'll do on day 2. And we've got all of these bonus trainings that we're going to be putting out the week, maybe even the 2 weeks afterwards. And it's all hosted inside of a private Facebook group. Okay. So just to give you guys the real rough and quick rundown. So day 1, 10 a.m., we're going to go over the basics. We're selling on Amazon. Here's what we're doing. Here's what a replen is, all of that stuff. If you've been selling for a while, okay, you can sleep in a little bit. You don't have to be there right at 10. Okay. We're going to be breaking down the big picture, talking about logistics. We're going to go through some more in-depth Keepa training. Now, we're doing some of that tonight as well, but we will be doing more in-depth Keepa training there. I love to do like source with me instead of just showing you guys like here's how. I'm going to show you guys how, and then I want you to do it with me. So watch me do it, and then do it with me, and then I will watch you do it. So after you watch me, then you guys are going to have a turn to do some stuff as well. All right. So talking about retail arbitrage stuff, source with me. Online arbitrage, again, watch me do it with me, and then I watch you do it. We're going to break down sourcing manually, using tactical arbitrage, reverse sourcing. This is going to be a huge chunk of it. Reverse sourcing from other people's storefronts. A ton of group practice where I'm going to have you guys practice the things that we just talked about to know that you guys get it. It comes from my teaching days. That whole like watch me do it, then do it with me, then I watch you do it. That's a whole teaching theory. We're going to do some Q&A and a hangout session afterwards. We're going to have some more homework in between the days as well. All right, then day 2, this is on Sunday. We're going to do even more examples, even more like live sourcing. I don't just want to show you guys how. I want to show you how, and then I want to actively do it with you to show you that this is possible. It's hard work, but it's very simple work. And I want to show you guys exactly how it's done and give you live examples of like me sourcing and finding you replens that you can use. So we're going to do more practice show and tell. Going to do some tactical arbitrage stuff. And then we have a bunch of breakout sessions on Sunday. This is the part that I'm really excited about. We have a business mindset coach. This woman, her name's Karen. She works with huge brand. Like she's not an Amazon seller. She doesn't work with Amazon people. She works with like major corporate events. And we paid her a pretty penny to come and teach you guys. But I felt like it was worth it because so many people go into starting a business with the wrong mindset, or they have some fallacies that they believe. So we're bringing in a business mindset coach. We're bringing in a wholesale coach. For those of you guys who know Larry, I think you pronounce his last name Libersky. I might have butchered that. Sorry, man. But he's coming to do some wholesale training, training you guys on the small and light program, some FBM training, how to hire, fire, and train people using SOPs, using virtual assistants, bundles, all sorts of things. All right. More group practice, more Q&A. All right. Then the week after, I'm going to show you guys how to build XPaths for yourselves using tactical arbitrage. And I'm going to give you guys some for free as well. Talk about how to track your replens. This was a huge thing. I felt like I couldn't fit this into my 2 days. So I'm just going to make a whole breakout like bonus thing afterwards of how to track your replens. We've put together a list of wholesale companies and contact info and all of that stuff so that you can contact wholesalers for yourself. Wholesale is part of this whole thing. It's not like, oh, I can't do wholesale because I'm doing replens, or I can't do replens because I'm doing it's all the same thing. A replenishable item is something you can buy over and over and over. Technically, even private label is replenishable. Okay, so we tried to give you guys the gamut of as much as we could as far as what could we give you that A, benefits you, B, is useful to you, and C, can make you money very, very quickly. And this fit all of those things. So we're going to give you guys a list of that. We're going to be, we'll have a little breakout session of like scaling your business past 40,000 a month. I think we have a lot of members that are in like the 0 to 40. And we've done a really good job, in my opinion, of sort of guiding you guys there. Something we've been lacking is guiding you past that level. And I want to fix that. So we're going to do a little session about scaling past that 40K a month plateau. I think that's where a lot of people sort of plateau in their businesses. Buy lists and lead lists, doing a whole thing about that, giving some stuff away there. Receipt tracking, inventory tracking, prepping and training. This might be sort of day 2, but in case we don't cover everything, all of that. Outsourcing, more Keepa, all of that stuff. All right. So yes, it will be recorded. And yes, it's available to everyone. If you get it now, you get the previous workshop recording as well as the live workshop that's happening. It's all a part of a private Facebook group and all that. Okay, so that is my little spiel about that. Let me turn that off, get that back on. Okay, so yeah, let me know in the comments one of 2 things. One, if you have questions about the Replen Workshop, drop them in the comment section, and I am here to help answer as much as I can. 2, if you've already taken the Replen Workshop and you want to tell people how terrible or how awesome it was in the chat, let me know in the chat. All right, just write down what you thought of it. Okay, we've had a ton of people giving us great feedback. So the first one, we had, I think, like 1,200-ish people attend, maybe 1,100. I don't remember exactly. I think, and we guarantee our stuff. If you're like, gosh, Nate, this isn't for me. Like, I just signed up. I'm looking at this. It's been like a couple days. I just don't think this is for me anymore. No worries. I'll give you a refund. And the crazy thing, I think we only had 2 refunds out of like all of those like 1,000 people that signed up. I think only 2 people refunded. So that to me tells me, okay, 1, I should probably charge more for this. And 2, obviously we're doing something right because that many people like instantly got enough value from it to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, of course. All right, so yeah, let me know if you've got some questions. I'll go through the chat here. We've got a lot of people saying hi. And we have some ASINs as well. I'll get to your, so I see Joseph Tella was dropping some ASINs. Yeah, we're gonna get to some Keepa training here in just a second. Let me make sure all of our replens and questions are taken care of. Hey there from Virginia. What is up, Jordan? Your videos is what I got. This, I love seeing this. Hey from Georgia, your video is what got my wife and I to start this 2 weeks ago, and we got our first sale. Woo! That's awesome. Welcome to the club. No, but seriously, like this is, I remember our first sale. It was a light bulb. And I tell people I had a little light bulb moment. Man, that first sale, it's just, it's so exciting. Yeah, I remember that feeling. It gets better and better. You'll never want to stop. I hated going shopping before, and now my wife like won't go shopping with me because she knows that we won't leave the store because I'll just be sourcing the whole time. Kobe, how is this different? So you bought the last one. Well, I've got good news for you, Kobe. You are already in the new one. You don't need to buy anything else because it's all in the same group that you are already a part of. Okay. So how is it different? Well, it's probably going to be about 3 times as much information. We're going much wider and a little bit deeper, covering more subjects. I think last time we didn't do a whole lot with tactical arbitrage. We didn't do a whole lot with like wholesale and stuff like that. And we're bringing in some guests to really dive deep into some of these other subjects. So we're making it better, but you already have the recordings from last time that you should go through, and you'll have the recordings from this time as well. So you, Kobe, don't buy anything else. Don't like go to our website and re-sign up for this, because then I'm going to have to process a refund afterwards. It's more work for me for you to just not do anything and just show up. Yes, Stephanie. So we're going to have a lot of breakout sessions. So on Sunday is sort of like our breakout session day. Roughly every hour, there's going to be a different person. I'm putting together the schedule now. For those of you who are on that schedule, I apologize that I have not gotten you your time slot yet. But yeah, about every hour, we're going to have a new person coming in. We'll close out the video and start a new one so that it's easy for people like going back, watching the replays so that you can follow along or skip what is uninteresting to you. Like if you already know all about, I don't know, FBM. Okay, we'll skip the FBM video. That's sort of our purpose for putting it together that way. Mimi, Replen Workshop, total game. That's the goal. That's the goal, guys. Yes, reverse sourcing, my new favorite hobby. So much money for sure. Yep. It's, oh my gosh, I love reverse sourcing so much. It feels like cheating. There's a couple things in the Amazon realm that I'm like, man, I feel like I'm cheating. Like selling on Amazon, I already feel like I'm cheating at life. And then reverse sourcing is one of those things where I feel like I'm cheating at the game of Amazon. Yeah, Adriana just regrets not getting it sooner. What is a replen item? So a replen item is any item that you can buy over and over and over. It's commonly things like grocery items and things like that, but it's not exclusive to that. It can be anything. It can be a pillow. It can be a remote. It can be a microphone. It can be a bag of Oreos. Actually, it's very commonly bags of Oreos or boxes of Oreos. It's anything that you can just buy over and over and over. So it's not clearance stuff where it's like, this remote, I can buy it for 50 cents and sell it for $10. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about finding things where like maybe you find this remote at Walmart and all day, every day, it's listed at $4. And all day, every day, you can sell it for $12. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that we're talking about finding, and we'll teach you how to find those types of things. Yes, the workshop is recorded, so you can watch it later. Let's see. Yes, Julia. So we are going to be breaking down a lot of different things, and we have to do this for a couple of reasons. There are people who are doing $1 million plus per year that are going through our workshop, and we have to include information and knowledge for them that they can use. There's people that are starting from $0 who have never sold anything on Amazon, and they want to know how to find replens, and we have to show information to them as well. So we're covering both ends of the gamut. Some things might not apply to you yet as a smaller seller. So like the tactical arbitrage stuff, if you're not paying for tactical arbitrage and it's not in your budget, don't bother getting tactical arbitrage. That's not going to take away from the workshop. We're going to show a lot of manually sourcing methods that are completely free that I personally still do, even though I have all of those paid tools. I still do a ton of manual sourcing. I mean, you can't get away from that fully if you really want to expand and grow. And some of the breakout sessions as well. We're having Cody Keppel is going to talk some about this as well. And we chat about this all the time between us, just like how powerful and effective and underutilized the manual free methods are, even by like the big sellers. All right. So yes, absolutely. Having Keepa, I would say, yeah, you're going to need Keepa. And I would recommend you, it's not a requirement. I would recommend getting ungated in grocery simply because it's so easy to get ungated in grocery. We have a free video on YouTube about how to get ungated in grocery. It should cost you like 20 bucks maybe to get the entire category opened up for you. So I would recommend that, but it's absolutely not a requirement. There are so many replens in so many categories. There are a lot in grocery, which is why I say that, but you don't have to have it. Let's see. Can a newbie benefit from this? Yes, absolutely. We have a lot of beginners go through it. Yep. And just like with everything else we put out, I try to take advanced concepts and break them down to their simplest forms so that beginners can understand. And it's sort of because it's all being recorded, it's almost like a grow with me type setting where, I mean, you can get a lot of benefit from the manual stuff. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, when you're like, man, I really got to crank this up a notch. Let me get tactical arbitrage, or let me get this Replen software thing, or let me get this other thing. That's when you can go back to the replays. Like, okay, I know Nate taught this in the workshop. Now that I have it, let me go back and watch that training real fast. And you've already got it because, I mean, you just get the replays for life. So where on the website is the workshop? So if you go to hustlebuddiesofficial.com and then you go to all classes, it's the little thing up at the top. Here, I'll share my screen one more time. All right, so hustlebuddiesofficial.com. Here's the homepage. You click this where it goes to all classes. See the Replen workshop right there. Boom, right there. I'll drop a link in the chat here. All right, there you go. All right. Let me see any other questions before I get to Keepa stuff. All right. And if you guys have Keepa questions or you have a chart you want me to look at, drop your ASINs in the chat. We'll be getting to that in just a couple minutes. Yes, Ahmed, if you're already in the Replen workshop group, you're in. We're not changing it. We're not doing anything else. I don't want to make people like repay to get back. And I don't think that that's right. Once you're in, you're in. All right. And you'll be in the other Replen workshops. If we do more in the future, you'll be in those. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Same thing, Kim. So it's already in that same private group that you should already be a part of. First one changed our business. Definitely worth it. Awesome, Brian. Glad to hear it. The wholesale. So Larry Libersky is coming in to talk about wholesale. He's going to be talking more so about concepts and strategies rather than specific wholesalers. Concepts and strategies are pretty universal. The lists that we will be sharing is honest. I mean, I don't want to like lie to you. That's probably mostly going to be American companies. I can look to see if I can add in a couple Canadian wholesalers as well. I will try to do that, Jessica, because I know we have a lot of Canadians in the group, and I do need to do a better job of reaching more outside my ethnocentric mindset. Let's see. Do you recommend watching the first ones? You can if you want. I mean, they're all in the group. So as soon as you sign up for it, you'll get some instructions to be added to a private Facebook group. And within the private Facebook group, you can already watch the previous recording that we did back in, it was like December, I think, was the last workshop, or November. I don't remember exactly the month, but it was a couple months back. Awesome, Deneen. The Replen workshop, not to be missed. Invaluable. Love it. Socks and dog toys were your first sales. That's fun. That's great. Socks, so Jordan, look for socks. So here's a freebie for you guys. Look for socks that go on like a seasonal sales cycle. Okay. There's a lot of stores that might have like buy one, get one free for socks or something like that. So even though it's not all the time, like maybe the sock isn't profitable if you're buying it for $9.99, but is it profitable if it's $5, where it's like buy one, get one free, because that would make it $5. Because those types of sales, they usually happen like once a quarter or so, or maybe every other month. So Jordan, keep an eye out for things, because we currently have sock replens where every couple months we are just getting an entire load full of these. I mean, we're like thousands of these socks. We send them in and they sell for a couple months. And then by the time we're almost sold out, the sale happens again and we just re-up our stuff. All right. So those are awesome sales, and look for some replens in those categories. Got my first sale. I had my doubts, but it worked. That's exactly how my wife was. We sent in a bunch of stuff. She's like, this seems kind of stupid, Nate. I'll go with this. She's a great wife. She was supporting me. It's like, I don't really think. And then we sold something and we're like jumping up and down. Oh my gosh, it works. Very, very, very exciting. Logan, I'll try to work on the affiliate stuff. We're trying to revamp that right now. I'll see if I can get yours up and running and working real fast. Once I get off this, maybe shoot me a message. If you shot me a message already and I didn't answer, I am so sorry. I have like 1,000 PMs that I haven't read on Facebook right now. I'm swamped, but shoot me another message and remind me, and I'll try to get that set up after this call. I have a free seller account, but I wish I could be here. Is that possible? So honestly, Olga, just like what I was saying to Logan, I can't really answer PMs from people because our group has 32,000 people. So if I answered people's PMs, I would never get anything done in my day. But you can post questions in the group or search in the group. Try to search in the group. Searching in the group first will almost always find you the answer, because the group has been around for over a year now, and almost every question has already been answered. So assuming that you've gone through all of the units and you've done all that in the main Facebook group, do a little search function. So if you're having a problem listing or sending stuff, do a search for listing or do a search for sending or shipping. All right. And read all the other threads that people have already talked about those topics. Love it. Mimi, so much value in the Replen Workshop. It made everything click. So much information. Rewatched it. Oh, man, I love it. That is great to hear. Awesome. More people with their first sales. All right. Great job, Megan and husband. Love it. That's great. Yes. So talking about the Replen Workshop, yes, you can replay the whole thing. What is reverse sourcing? Reverse sourcing is a method that you use where it can be done a couple different ways. The most common method is to find other people's storefronts, then find their items, and then figure out where they're buying those items from to see if they're profitable and see if you can sell the same things. Yeah, so I mean, when people get the Replen Workshop, they get the Replen Workshop. There's not like, oh, I'm cutting you out and you'll have to repay me again in 6 months when I do it again. No, we're not about that life here. So yeah, whenever we do Replen Workshops, if you're already in the Replen Workshop, then you get to go to the Replen Workshop. The only exception would be if this whole COVID thing settles down and we could ever do this event live. There might be some expenses for that because we would have to cover like event fees and things like that. But if that ever were to happen, it would be really small. We wouldn't be like charging you guys for profit. It would just be to cover our bases. First workshop was amazing. Awesome. Love reverse sourcing all the rabbit holes. It makes it hard to do my 9 to 5. Yep. We're slowly fostering a bunch of quitters here in Hustle Buddies in the best possible way. I mean quitters in the best possible way. People who can potentially quit their day jobs or quit worrying about stressing about money and all that. Replen Workshop really opened my eyes as a beginner. Last week got my first sale. Now I'm addicted. Awesome. Love it. There we go. There's a beginner who took the Replen Workshop. All right. So start dropping your Keepa ASINs in the chat. And I will, let me make sure that I got all these questions about the workshop. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who are really smart, and there's a lot of people who are really good at Amazon. There's a lot of people who are really good teachers. There's very few people who are a little bit of all of those things. All right. I'm not the smartest. I'm moderately intelligent, but I'm not the smartest. Am I successful on Amazon? Yes. Am I the most successful? No. Am I the best teacher in the world? No. But am I a decent teacher? Yeah. And I can be all three of those things. And I think that's sort of where our strength lies, and that I'm pretty good at teaching people how to do what I do. Let's see. Oh yeah, if you want to grab the the everything bundle, that's everything. So it includes the Replen Workshop. Yeah, that's over on. So I'll share my screen again. All right. So if you're on our homepage, I'll go to our homepage. Here's the homepage again. You've got all classes right here at the top. There is like all bundles, so that you get the Replen Workshop and the Kohl's class and the Grocery Deep Dive and the Beginner Kickstart. So yeah, if you want that, absolutely, it's there. It's discounted already for you guys. So if you want to get everything, great. Yeah. This is a good question. Do you recommend the Replen group for beginners without a pro account and a budget? Absolutely not. No, you should not be giving your money to me. Okay, if you do not have a pro account, you have no business paying for anything else. That is always step one. Always. You need a pro account before anything else. You can have an individual account to dip your toes in, but if you're thinking about paying for anything else that's not a pro account, no, it's the wrong answer 100% of the time. There is not a single thing you need to spend your money on prior to a professional account. The biggest reason for that is because the individual account will charge you $1 for every item that you sell. So, and the pro account costs you $40. So if you sell 40 items or 41 items, it would have been cheaper for you to have the pro account. And I would be a terrible teacher if I charged you like hundreds of dollars and you didn't have budget for inventory, and then you couldn't sell 40 items in a month. Like, that's always step one. All right. Same thing with a budget. If you have a tiny budget, don't spend it on education. Don't spend it on tools. Don't buy I mean, the tools that we talk about are all high quality. Like I stand by the tools that we recommend because they're the right tools for the job. But if you are starting with a tiny budget, you can't afford the tools. You have to spend 100% of your money on inventory. That's how we started with $100. If I had started this, and again, we started this over 4 years ago now with $100. If I tried to spend the $100 on education, on tools, and other things, I wouldn't have had money for inventory. And this is an inventory-based business. So you have to spend your money on inventory first, and then the other things. Then you can figure out, you can get your education, then you can get your tools, your other stuff. If you're only starting with like $100 or something, I'm sorry, don't spend it on anything. Don't even get a pro account. You have to spend all of that on inventory. Mr. Ben, yes, we've got a lot of Canadians. 95% of everything is going to be usable and applicable to you guys. Some of my examples, like I might use an example from a US store, but it wouldn't change the underlying effect or the underlying like how-to of it. Everything is global. It doesn't matter if you're in Canada, in Japan, or in Australia, wherever. It doesn't really matter. All right. I think that's all the questions. So that's funny. I think that was all the questions about the workshop. Okay. All right. I am going to skip ahead now. Except for this one. No, it's not allowed. Nope, don't do it. Stop listening to the people on TikTok who are like, I can make $1 million drop shipping. No, no, you're going to get kicked off Amazon. Don't do it. Okay, we're going to shift gears now. We're going to be talking about Keepa for the next little bit. All right, so I've got a couple Keepa charts. So these are ASINs right here. This little thing right there, that's called an ASIN. This is how Amazon identifies items on Amazon. Okay, so I will be using Keepa, and I will be showing you all my screen for this. I wonder if I can I? Oh, that's frustrating. Okay, that really stinks. I can't copy and paste that. I'm gonna have to type it the old-fashioned way. All right, we're gonna start with this one here, B07PRM3 NP8. Okay, so I'll pull up some Keepa graphs, and I'll sort of break down what I think about them, maybe if I'd buy it, if I would skip it, all of that stuff. I hope no one is showing like a really important, like, oh, this is my Replen that I've made a bunch of money on, and what does Nate think? Please don't show me those things, because I'm going to be publicly showing these items to people. Okay. All right. So we've got this Russell Stover's bag. Looks like new. It is selling for $4.50. Right off the bat, I'm going to say there is a very, very small chance that this is going to be profitable. If I saw this in the store, like if I scanned something and it pulled up and it was selling, and it even, yeah, well, like with shipping and all that stuff. So $5.92. If something pulls up on my screen and it's selling for $5.92, I am not checking the Keepa graph on it. I am moving on and I am passing. You're not going to make, there's a very few exceptions to this, but you're probably not really going to make a whole lot of money there. So I will say that right off the bat. So no, I would not personally buy this just based on the sale price. We're not even talking about the graph. Okay. Now when we actually do talk about the graph, yeah, this is selling. So you can see the green here. This is the sales rank. It's moving up and down. That's great. It looks like it went through a time where it wasn't selling at all. My guess is, yes, my guess is correct, that everyone was out of stock. So you could see here, I'm going to turn this off. New offer count. This tells you the people who are in stock. You can see usually it's like 1 or 2 people in stock, and then this whole middle section, no one had it in stock. Okay, well, obviously that's why it didn't make a single sale. There wasn't anything wrong with it. It's just no one was selling it. So yeah. So is this selling? Yes. Is it profitable? Probably not. We're going to pass. Okay. All right. Let me know if you've got some other ASINs. I'll turn this off, and I'm going to pull up some from my post earlier. All right. We got 3 ASINs here. And I'll search for this. Oh, let me share my screen again. Okay, so we've got another ASIN here. Chaps women's skinny jean belt. All right, so sale price of $20. So we're assuming, I don't think cost is $3. Ooh, okay, so $3 looks like it's selling for roughly 20. That's interesting. So I'm looking down here at the new offer count. There's usually only 1 person, and they're out of stock all the time. So like this sales rank is really good considering how little this is actually in stock. So I would say that's a positive thing that I'm noticing. Chaps is a pretty big brand that I probably wouldn't worry too much about. Sometimes, well, usually I tell people to shy away. Like if you see there's only 1 seller on something and that seller is the brand itself, you probably should shy away from it because it's going to be a pain in the butt and they're going to try to kick you off the listing. But this is sold by Lion's Mane, which is obviously not Chaps. So yeah, we're good there. This is selling well. The green chart is going up and down. With a Keepa chart, I'm going to pause real fast and sort of rewind it a little bit for all of the extreme beginners out there. Okay. Ignore everything on your screen except for this right here at the top. Okay. This bar right here, sales rank, this green bar. Sales rank is what tells you if something is selling. Now, the reason you use Keepa instead of just the number, because if you like scan something in the store, it'll tell you a sales rank and you can take a guess. I mean, if you scanned this on January 6th and had a sales rank of 340, Okay, well, you push that in, or like you estimate yourself like, well, 340, that's not selling very well. I'm going to pass on that. Or you put that into something like Jungle Scout and Estimator. Well, it's not selling. It's selling like once a month, so you probably shouldn't buy that, or less than once a month. Okay, that's why you shouldn't use things like Jungle Scout estimators and things like that, because they're garbage. Just look at Keepa. Keepa will tell you if it's selling. So if you scanned it right here, well, yeah, of course it looks like it's not selling because no one has it in stock. When people have it in stock, like back here or up here, is this green bar moving? Is the sales rank moving? If the sales rank is moving, then it's selling. Okay, so that's the basics of Keepa. You want to see if this green bar is moving up and down. If you don't have this green bar, that means you need to toggle it on. If you can't toggle it on, it means you need to pay for Keepa. The free version is worthless. Okay, now I'm going to turn on some of these other things. All right. So after you know if it's selling, you want to know if it's profitable. So they said that they can buy this for $3. It's selling for about 20. I'm not even going to bother doing the math on that. I'm going to tell you, yeah, that's probably worth it. This is a belt. There's no way that the fees on this belt are going to be $17. That's just not happening. They might be like $10. Like they might be high fees, but even a high fee, there's still plenty of profit. So would I personally buy that? Based on everything that I'm seeing here, yes, absolutely. That seems like a great buy. All right, let me pull up another. So that was Megan's from our Facebook post. Pull up Rico's. He said the cost is about $9.50. Let's see Rico's. Okay, comfy down. Now this. All right. This is a weird listing. It's got a bunch of child listings or something. Oh, you gave me that's why you gave me the parent ASIN. Yeah, that's the parent listing. Okay, so we're looking at this. He said it's $9.50. You can sell it for 28. The fees on this are probably going to be high because it is big. I don't know exactly what those fees are. I mean, I can look it up. I can use some tools if you want me to. Assuming that this is at least like 50% profitable, I'm happy with the profit. Just $9 into almost $30, like that's 3x. That's usually like a good rule of thumb. If it's about 3 times your price, you're in the right ballpark. All right. There's only one seller, so I want to make sure that it's not this Comfy Down brand. There were 2 sellers back there in the past, but it's usually just one seller. So we do need to make sure that it's not like a private label brand that they're selling themselves. This green bar is moving up and down. It's all over the place. These numbers almost don't even really matter because you're just looking at the movement. Okay. It doesn't matter that this was ranked 750,000 because the very next day people bought it and then it was ranked 200,000. And then 2 days later, more people bought it and it was ranked 203,000. And then more people bought it and now it's ranked 125. So if the sales rank is moving, then the item is selling. That's all you got to remember. Okay. And usually it's going for 27. Let's look this up on Amazon just to make sure. Comfy Down. Ooh, all right. So this is the big red flag that I was telling you about. Everything on Keepa checked out. Is it selling? Yes. Is it profitable? Yes. Awesome. Okay. Now the red flag that we saw was that there was only one seller, historically pretty much only one seller. So then we wanted to know, is that seller the brand? Because if the brand is selling it themselves, they probably don't want a third party going on there. Even if you can sell it, even if you're allowed to, they're going to fight you. They're going to fight dirty, and it's probably not worth your headache. So I'm not going to say like you're not allowed to, because you absolutely are allowed to. Can I go to the store and buy this and sell this? Absolutely. There's nothing stopping me from doing that, and I'm fully within my rights, both legally and on Amazon. However, is it worth my headache? Probably not, because I see this right here. Let me turn my camera on. I see this right here where it's sold by Comfy Down and it's Comfy Down. All right. We are going to pass on this one. Okay. That's not going to be worth your headache. Also, when I'm looking at the fees, if we put in $9.50 right there, you're only making like 40% profit. This is okay, but for having this potential for headache, nope, not worth it. Hard pass on that one. All right. Okay, let's see. I think we had one more. Charlie. Now, Charlie, this one sounds pretty good. I'm hoping that this was not a replen of yours or somebody else's, but here we go. Okay, so Charlie said that the cost is $20. Oh, you're probably getting this from like Kohl's or the A6 outlet. That's super, super, super common. Getting it for $20, selling for $120. All right. Well, That looks pretty good. Now, the weird thing with clothing and shoes is that they have a lot of variations, okay? And this has a lot of variations. I'm going to pull this up on Amazon. It'll be a little bit easier. So there are 6 different colors, and each of those colors has, what is this, like 10 different styles. So there's roughly 60 different items inside of this one single listing. And all 60 of those items usually share the same sales rank. Usually that's how this works. So if this is ranked like 300 and something, that's most likely across every single variation, okay? If you count. So is this selling? It is. I would not go deep on this. I would not like clear the shelf. Would I buy 1 or 2 of these and expect it to sell within like 6 months? Yes, I probably would. And that's plenty of money to buy it, list it, and let it sit for a while. So you can see the sales rank is moving, but again, this is for that entire listing, not just, I mean, I know it says that, but it's for the whole listing. They're all pretty much the same. Usually I've seen a couple weird exceptions to that. But usually that's for the entire listing. I've got some fancy tools too that I can use to look up the variations as well. I won't get into that on this video. I think I'm going to confuse more people that way. But yeah, let's say we go over to one of those. Well, then that Keepa graph is different. Maybe this is one of those odd ones where it's all, they might be going through, yeah, it looks like it's tied. So this is all variations. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to really dig into this one for, who posted this one? Charlie. I'm trying to dig into this one for Charlie. Let's see, that's the 8. I've got a theory here. That's the, okay. So these Keepa charts are broken down by color variation, not by size variation. So this ranking is specific to this color, the mist/illusion blue, and it includes all of the sizes. So it's not 60 variations all wrapped into one. It's only like 10, which is significantly better. If 10 things all wrapped into one look like this, would I buy it? Yeah. Would I probably buy more than one now that I know that information? Yeah, I probably would. Is this, let's see, women's running shoe, right? What size was this? This is 10.5. 10.5 is on the larger side of average. That can be good or it can be bad. What I mean by that is there are fewer women who wear size 10.5, but the women who are size 10.5 have a much harder time finding their shoes and are much more likely to go shopping on Amazon. So it's sort of a wash in that regard. But yeah, looking at this, is it selling? Yeah, I would grab a handful of those personally. Like if I was at the outlet store and I saw 3 of those on the shelf, yeah, I'd probably grab a couple. Awesome. All right, let me see if there are any other ASINs here in the chat. All right, here's one. B08 HR7 BL5H. Copy that and paste it here. All right, massage pillow. All right, so step number 1. Is this selling? Barely. It's barely selling. Since January 1st, this has probably sold 3 times. How do I know that? Because the sales rank has dropped 3 times. With a listing like this, it's really obvious when it sells. Some of the other listings, it's not as obvious. Like the one that we were just looking at. Where did it go? Going back to this. Yeah, like this one, you can't figure out exactly how much this is selling. It's moving too much, and the movement doesn't perfectly correlate because Keepa can't update like every single second. So there's no way to estimate the number of sales that this is making. It's just not possible. However, with that one that we were just looking at, this new massage pillow thing, you absolutely can give a decent estimation. Oh, come on, Keepa. And you can absolutely guesstimate that this has sold 3 times in 2021. Okay. So is it selling? Hardly. right off the bat, I would probably pass. Is it profitable? Maybe. All right. And here's a second red flag. If it's profitable at $40, is it profitable at $35? Because historically, like back when it was selling, because it was selling like near Christmas time, it was selling more. It was selling for cheaper. So are you profitable at this price? Hopefully. All right. So that's the second red flag. Third red flag is I think I have a hunch that you found this at TJ Maxx, and I have a hunch that the brand, that this is a private labeled thing. I could be wrong about that. Let me see. From EPL, is that the brand name? No, it's not. All right. Okay, so that's irrelevant. The brand probably won't be coming after you based on that, but it's not really selling. So would I buy that? If it was $1, a couple dollars, yeah, sure, maybe I'd buy one of those, let it sit there for 6 months, and hope that it sold. But I'm not going to be clearing the shelf with that one. All right. Okay, I think that was all of them. Oh, he said it costs $20. If that costs $20, the ROI cannot possibly be 340%. Let me punch this in real fast because it's selling for, that doesn't make sense, Charlie. If you bought it for $20, that's 13% ROI. So I'm going to say that's a hard pass. I don't know where you got that 340% number from because it's listed on Amazon for $40 right now. Okie dokie. Let me see if there's anybody else. Or that wasn't Charlie. I think that was Joseph. Yeah, that was Joseph. Yeah, Joseph. That's a hard pass. Let's see. Any other ASINs? Okay, here's one. Sorry, I got mixed up. I don't know if you bought that for 20. I think I confused people. So sorry, I did not mean to call you out like that, Charlie, if that's not your listing. B006MWBBG2. Oops. Bring this over. So this is Karen. I passed because too many sellers. Not sure if I did the right thing. All right, well, let's check it out, Karen. All right, so we've got Annie's Homegrown Mac and Cheese. Number one, is this selling? Yes, absolutely. This green bar is, it's flying all over the place. How many are selling? We have no idea. You cannot estimate this. Not possible. If anyone tells you differently, then they're lying or trying to sell you on a service. Yeah, you can't, something like this, you have no idea how much it's selling, but you do know that it is selling and it's selling frequently. Okay, I'm actually going to zoom in here. All right. The colloquial terms that we say is like, if it looks like an EKG or if it looks like a skyline, like then it's good. It's selling. Okay. If it looked like a cliff, like that last pillow that we saw before, that's bad. All right. So is this selling? Yes. Is this profitable? Annie's Homegrown Mac and Cheese. I'm going to assume, I'm going to take an assumption that these are about $2 a piece. And this is for a 6-pack. So you're paying $12 for it. I don't see how that could be profitable. If it's $1 a box, so it's $6 into 14, even $6. Is that even profitable? Let me go over here to, yeah, even at $6, it's not profitable. So you probably did the right thing on passing, but it's because it's not profitable. It has nothing to do with, you were talking about other sellers. All right. So that's, yeah, is it selling? Yes. Is it profitable? Probably not. So right there, boom, my research is done. I'm not digging any further because I want a really important lesson that everyone needs to learn as a seller is you need to consistently figure out how to work more efficiently. If you can rule out a product within 5 seconds, well, that's all that time that you can then use for the next product. I think a lot of people get really bogged down. They're like, oh, Nate, how do you look up all this data for every single item? I don't. I go through my criteria. Did it pass checkpoint A? Is it selling? Nope. Okay. Well, I'm not continuing then. All right. Did it pass checkpoint B? Is it profitable? Nope. All right. I'm not continuing then. Did it pass both of those? All right. Well, now I'm going to keep digging for more information. Let's just assume that you're getting this for free. Okay. Let's assume that you're getting this Annie's Homegrown thing completely for free. And this is for a 6-pack. All right. So you're making like $6 of profit on this. The number of sellers, that's totally fine to me. The only time that the number of sellers is an affecting factor for me personally, there's 2 times. One, if there's one seller on it. If there's only one seller, then I was like, okay, well, this is probably the brand. It's probably going to be more headache than it's worth. Okay. 2, if there's a giant spike, let's pretend this is not correct, but let's pretend that this green bar right here is the number of sellers. You see, oh, it had 6 sellers, 7 sellers, 8 sellers, 9 sellers. Oh, and now there's 120 sellers. Okay, that would be a hard pass because the number of sellers is skyrocketing. Like this was probably posted somewhere. Maybe someone in House of Buddies posted about this. All right, and it's just the number of sellers has skyrocketed. So that's when I would pass. If the number of sellers looks like a pretty straight line, I'm not usually too worried about that. That doesn't really matter to me. And a lot of these people are probably overpriced anyways. I'll show you what I mean by that, Karen. So we're going to click here, click on all of the new offers. Right now, the buy box is at $14.77. Okay, so $14.77, $14.79, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 sellers that are selling this in the $14 range. Those are the only 4 sellers that I would say currently are in the buy box rotation. Maybe this person as well. Well, we'll throw them in. We'll say there's 5 sellers. Everyone after that, they're selling it for 16, 17, 17, probably 18. Yep, there's 18. These sellers are irrelevant. Like this person has 1 in stock and they're trying to sell it for $19.20. This is not my competition. Okay. When I look at that graph, yes, there's 30 sellers, but this isn't my competition. This isn't he's got 1 in stock. He's got 1 in stock. She's got a couple in stock. She's got 2 in stock. This person, yeah, okay, maybe they might be my competition. They've got 100 in stock. And maybe they know something that I don't know. Maybe this listing will go up to $21, okay? It's ships from them, so they're doing merchant fulfilled. Maybe they know something that I don't. According to the Keepa graph, it's not going back up there. Now, did it go up there during the height of COVID? Yeah, absolutely. Like February, March, April, this time right here. Yeah, you betcha this was selling for $40. You could throw a dart at the grocery aisle during March or April. Anything that your dart hit was profitable. Literally anything. Like it was the most unbelievably profitable time for Amazon sellers that I had ever seen. And that's why like we made like the grocery class when we're like, oh my gosh, people have to know how easy this is. Okay. So that seller probably bought 100 of these back in April. Is it going to go back up to $28? Not unless there's like a complete countrywide shutdown again. And even then, companies have figured out their logistics. So I don't think it's ever going to go back up to this price. Okay. That person missed the train. So I'm not too worried about that one. But that was a great example, Karen. Let's see if there's another ASIN. Oh, Joseph, you were saying you bought that pillow for $9. All right, sure. I would buy 1 for $9 and let it ride. Don't expect it to sell very fast. Like expect it to sit there for a couple months. But if you just bought 1 for $9 and it was selling for about 30, yeah, sure. I'd test that out. All right, let's go with Ahmed B07 BM. JR2. I'll take this and copy it from here. Okay, L'Oreal Paris. All right, this is another good example. Okay, so checkpoint number 1. Is this selling? You betcha. This is selling all the time. This is, what is it, ranked like 10,000 in beauty? Yeah, this is flying off the shelf. Like hundreds of these, okay? Now that's probably a variation. So something funky, if you're looking at this, you're like, well, what the heck happened back here? Like it looks like a normal EKG. And a lot of people are like, and then it flatlines, okay? And this is, I was not a math teacher, but if I was a math teacher, that sentence would bother me a lot because that's just how the graph has to be. Because if it's back here, if it's 400,000 and it's like, this is just how this isn't flatlining. Zoom in right here. Look, it's not flatlining anymore, but that's because your numbers here are now 10,000, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay. Yeah. If you zoom out, of course it's going to look all weird. Okay. Because now your numbers go up to 1 million. So if you want to have this data point on the same scale as these data points, your graph is going to look a little funky. So if your graph looks like this and you're like, oh, well, what happened right here? It looks like it flatlines. No, skip that part of your brain, zoom in. And now this is what it looks like. All right. All I'm doing to zoom in is just clicking and dragging like that. and that's zooming in on a specific timeline. Okay, so let's zoom out to the past 3 months, and I see that it is selling. Awesome. It is selling for $2. No, it is not profitable. So for me and my normal research, if I saw that, pass. I'm done. Yeah, we can check Keepa because that oftentimes it does not include shipping. So it's going to be like $2 plus $9 of shipping or something like that. So we can look into this. Yeah, this is a funky one because there's all sorts of those. Huh. Yeah, because I don't know why it's saying, well, I'm pretty sure I do know why it's saying that. Probably this person right here. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this person, they're selling it for $2, but then shipping is $5. So that's it can kind of trick Keepa that way. That's why Keepa is saying it's going for $2. Normally, like when we're looking at all of those, this is selling for $5, $6, $7, maybe $8. Let's use best case scenario. Let's say this is going for $8. Okay. Even at $8, you are just barely making money. This would have to be, you'd have to be selling this small and light to save on some stuff there. I do see that Amazon sometimes is selling this, but not all the time. So they haven't sold this since like the middle of January. They sold it all through Q4, but outside of Q4, it's kind of hit or miss. Like they might be on it, they might be off of it. When they are on it, they're selling it between $8 and $13. If it's profitable at 13, awesome. You might be able to sell it for that, but I wouldn't expect that, Ahmed. I would expect to sell it closer to like between $6 and $8. Okay, maybe you can price it for $8 and let it sit for longer. But yeah, it's like right now it's selling for about $6. So is it selling? Yes. Is it profitable? Sorta. New offer count. It's not terrible. It is on the increase. So I see usually there's only like 4, 5, 6, 7 sellers. And then ever since something happened like October 8th or something, ever since October, there's been some more sellers on it. So we're up to like 20, but that's not a huge deal to me. And again, honestly, most of those people probably are not even competing. Let me double check. Yeah, I mean, from that person on, anyone above $8 isn't competing for this buy box. Yeah, so there's a couple people, but well, I guess most of them are priced there. Okay, so yeah, is it profitable? Maybe a little bit. If you're getting it for really cheap, I mean, I'm talking like $1 or something, maybe. It is going to be a lot of effort for a small amount of money. So if you're going to go through all that effort, you need to make sure you can get this in like bulk quantities. Like we're talking like get a box of 50 or 100 of these. And then assuming that you're profitable selling it as small and light for like $7, $8 and you bought it for $2, maybe you're making like 50 cents to $1 on each one. Sure. I mean, if this doesn't require a whole lot of prep, if it's just like label, and you can label 50 of these things in 20 minutes, sure. Yeah, otherwise I would say probably this is not going to be worth your effort personally. That's just my take on that. All right. Is it okay to sell something that Amazon is selling? Yes, absolutely. We do that all the time. There's a lot of people who don't, and I disagree with that personally, but it is a personal opinion. There are some people who are like, oh, I never win the buy box from Amazon. For us, we win it all the time. That's never a deterring factor. Now, oftentimes Amazon will sell it for cheaper than I can sell it for. And in those cases, well, then I'm not going to sell it. But I'm not selling it because of Amazon. I'm not selling it because it's not profitable, if that makes sense. All right, we got one more here from Julia, and then I'll probably end it there. All right, B08VF EW. Did I type that in all right? 9. Oh, wait. Huh. 7. Let's hope I typed this in right. All right. I know what this is. All right. 540 buy cost. You're selling it for, well, so, all right. Couple of things here. Step 1. Is it selling? Yes, it is selling. So it's existed for 21 days. You can see when it first came out, it sold maybe a couple times, but as it sort of got traction on Amazon, well, now it's popular. Now people are like, oh my gosh, I got to have this. Yeah. And it's a newer thing. Target just came out with these, but it's a newer thing. The price is trending down though. That's usually a bad sign. When you see this stair stepping down, boom, 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 it drops down to like $13.50. What did you say the buy cost was on this? $540. Okay, so if you buy this for $540 and you sell it for $13.50, let me run some numbers real fast on this. Or maybe you're selling it for $20. $540. Okay, if you can sell this for $20, you'll make about 100% ROI, and that's great. If you are selling this for, what was it? Wasn't it like 14 something? You start to get into the range where like, it's not quite worth your time anymore. I mean, maybe get a couple and like merchant fulfill them depending on if this weighs less than a pound, you can merchant fulfill this fairly profitably. If it weighs more than a pound, it's not, no, don't bother doing that. So yeah, the price is trending downwards. The number of sellers is trending upwards, and there is a correlation there. The more sellers are on it, the lower the price gets. That is going to continue being the case. This listing is mildly profitable right now. Yeah, $14.99 was what it was at. It dropped down to $13.50. Yeah, I mean, sure, the buy box right now is at 19. I wouldn't personally count on it staying there because the savvy customers are seeing this and they're like, oh, I can buy it for $15.95 or $16.99. Sweet, I'm going to do that. I wouldn't count on the buy box staying here, especially as more and more sellers start jumping onto this listing. If you're one of the first couple, awesome. Yeah. Would I buy a couple of these to test it? Yeah, sure. Maybe I'd buy a few just to keep it on my list, just in case it didn't tank the way that I'm expecting it to tank. But for me personally, I am expecting this trend to continue with the pricing trend, and I'm expecting this trend to continue. It's only been on here 21 days. So in 21 days, 20 people have found this listing. There's going to be a lot of people trying to sell this. The more people trying to sell it, the lower that margin is going to be until eventually people are just breaking even or trying to get their money back. That's probably most likely what's going to happen. So you can get a few to test it just in case, but I would not have very high hopes for that one. Sorry, Julia. It's also super popular right now at Target. Small and light. So you can look up, if you go to Seller Central and you just do a search for small and light, you can read their requirements. You have to send a bunch, like you can't just do it with ones and twosies. You got to send in 25 units. You got to apply to the program and all of that. It's a process, so you need to make sure it's worthwhile. It's usually not worthwhile for clearance stuff. It would only be worth it if you're doing stuff like replens. And that's why we're having somebody talk about that in our Replen workshop coming up. What if Amazon is the only seller on the listing always? Is it profitable and is it selling? If the answer is yes to both of those, then personally, will I list on a listing that Amazon is the only seller on? Yes, I personally will do that frequently, and I will frequently sell my items. Books. Yes, people can sell books. Please help me understand the buy box. I'm just kind of doing some general questions now. So the buy box, if I'm a customer and I want to buy this Nostalgia Mini Lava Bundt Cake Maker, if I press buy it now, I am buying it from the person with the buy box. Right now, this person has the buy box because that's the person who I would be buying it from if I just clicked buy it now. Very few customers understand how Amazon works. They think, oh, I'm just buying this for $20 off of Amazon. Well, you're not actually buying it from Amazon. You're buying it from AK Home and Beauty, okay? And there are 19 other sellers. You see this little tiny little small font right here. There's 19 other sellers that are all selling this as well. All of these people do not have the buy box, okay? So this is the buy box. It's the person who has the buy it now button. That can actually be different depending on your location. Like what I see here in Indiana might be different than what you see. All right, let me take just a couple more. Good question. Absolutely not. 100% of the time, this is either a counterfeit. Yeah, it's a counterfeit. Without exception, it cannot. So I'll use Nike as an example. Let's say that you have the best connection ever, and because Nike's, they're made in China. Let's say you have the best connection ever, like your uncle's friend works in this place or is a manager over here, and you have the in. You know the people who work at the manufacturer that manufacture Nike, and you can buy them straight from them for like $10 a pair instead of getting them from Nike. And you're getting it directly from the factory that makes them for Nike. And you're like, I know this isn't counterfeit, but that is counterfeit. It's counterfeit because it's not following the chain of custody that Nike has set up as a brand. So even though it's not counterfeit, like it's not a fake, it's a real, legally it is still a counterfeit, and you are still not allowed to sell that. And not only are you not allowed to do that on Amazon, but you can get into like legitimate legal trouble trying to do that. There is nothing that you can resell from China. Nothing, without exception. If you see a listing on Amazon and you're like, oh, I can buy that in China and sell it on that listing. No, you cannot. That listing always has a brand. Even if the brand is like, I don't know, ABC123, and it's for someone posted this at Christmas time. So I'll give you a story, Mr. Ben. A couple months ago, someone was posting about how their account was getting shut down for selling counterfeit goods. And this person was giving them like intellectual property claims and threatening to sue them and all this other stuff. And they're like, what the heck? I'm just buying generic Christmas stockings. It's not their stocking. Why can't I buy this from China? And it's because the listing, yes, even though it's a generic stocking, the listing is for ABC123 stockings. He was not ABC123 stockings. He was Bob Joe or whatever his name was. All right. The company Bob Joe cannot sell ABC123 stockings without ABC123 stock. Like you can't work outside of the chain of custody. You can buy it if you bought it from like Walmart, for example. That is within the chain of custody because Walmart got it from a licensed distributor. There's documentation there. You know where it came from. It came at some point. It came from that company and it came from their logistics. When you try to work outside of that company's chain of custody, it's 100% a counterfeit, and you can get in a lot of trouble doing that. So no, you can't ever do that. So what's the issue? The issue is you can't arbitrage them. You cannot resell things. Now, I do want to make it clear, you absolutely can build your own brand. You can make a private label product. You can get something generic from China. You can say, this is Mr. Ben's payphone, or this is Mr. Ben's remote, okay? And you can make your own listing. You can build your own brand. That is acceptable. That is not a forgery. That is not a counterfeit because now it's your brand. It's your products. But if you try to sell LG, and you're like, man, I can source LG remotes from China. No, you cannot. Those are 100% of the time, it is considered a counterfeit. Even if it's not a counterfeit, it's still legally a counterfeit. So that's the issue. Awesome. Okay, that is all the questions. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Again, if you are just tuning in, whoops. There we go. That was funny timing. If you are just tuning in, we were talking about the Replen Workshop earlier. If you are not signed up for that, sign up for it. It is happening this weekend. Saturday and Sunday is the big event for the Replen Workshop. Go to hustlebuddiesofficial.com, go up to all classes, and you will see it listed there, or look for a link in the group. You can search for like Replens or the Replen Workshop or Workshop. Do a search in the main Hustle Buddies group. There are quite literally hundreds of conversations about this. I was like trying to compile like testimonials and things like that, and like I spent a few hours on it and then I just quit. I couldn't get through them all because it's just pages and pages and pages in the main Hustle Buddies group of people talking about their experiences and what they were able to get from it. So if you're interested and you're on the fence, check those out. Do a search for yourself. Like, don't take my word for it. Listen to what other people say about it and all of that. Yeah, and that's all, folks. All right. Stay safe out there if you are experiencing some cold or some snow. Stay profitable, find some money.